This weekend, the Toyo Tyres MSA British Rallycross Championship heads back to Lydden Hill in Kent, the spiritual home of Rallycross, with some great machinery on display. It's been an all-action championship, and last time out up at Croft, it was as frantic as ever. Mark Higgins was on the hunt for points after a bad weekend at Pembrey. Others, like Liam Manning, were just keen to score well. As weather conditions deteriorated, Ollie O'Donovan was in strife, and the man that came through for his first proper win of the season, Julian Godfrey. Taking maximum points at Silverstone at the start of the season, Godfrey now heads the championship, but he's only one ahead of O'Donovan and Higgins.
Mark Higgins, you come here to Lydden Hill today, second in the British Rallycross Championship, just a point behind the lead joint with Ollie in second. It's going to be super tight today, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Looking at the time so far this morning, it's very, very close between everybody, so it's going to be a really good race. We've got nice weather. Last time we were here, it was pretty horrendous, so I think it'll be really interesting. It's a fantastic track, so if we have a good, enjoyable race, it's going to be very, very close.
Three-time winner so far this season, come here second in the championship, just a point off the lead joint with Mark in second place, but you've had to switch cars this morning.
Yeah, Hal, it's been very tight. Championship is very, very good. A lot of panic, but there was a major panic this morning. We were getting ready for first practice, and we had a refueling issue where something went wrong refueling, and it exploded my fuel tank. So we had to jump back. Luckily, we brought the second car to go for France Monday, so we had no choice. We had about 12 minutes to get ready and jump into the second car.
The first qualifying race underway. Brilliant start by Mark Higgins from the outside of the front row, and he cuts across to go for the normal line down towards Chesson's Drift. Jake Harris there thought about the Joker and then slots in behind everybody else. So Mark Higgins it is. Clear road ahead of him. He leads the way. But behind him, Ollie Bennett. Welcome back to British Rallycross. He's been away racing in the American Championship, in the World Championship. And Ollie Bennett, who was a real star last season in his first season in the Championship, runs second as very wide goes Jake Harris. Steve Mundy gets up the inside of him. Side by side they run now, all the way up towards the hairpin, and Harris goes through under braking, takes the place, a little bit deep into the hairpin at the top of Hairy Hill, but he powers out the other side, clear in third place. Mark Higgins then leads the pack through the chicane, flat out, back onto tarmac. Which way does he go? He goes right. That means he's on the normal line through Chesson's Drift. Ollie Bennett, though, goes for the Joker, gets that out of the way. So does Steve Mundy. Now the Joker lap is the longer and it's the slower line. So there you've got that chicane. It tightens, back on the part, over the jump, onto the loose, and then back onto the tarmac on the Dover slope. Mark Higgins pressing on. It's not just a race win he's after. He wants the fastest possible time out of Q1. Rally champion, stunt driver, and now winner in Rallycross. Powers downhill. There is Ollie Bennett. He's got the Joker out of the way. Higgins flicks his way through paddock, through that little chicane. Up the curb he goes. And he's on to his last lap. So what he has done is try and build a gap, which he can then preserve on the last lap as he serves the Joker. Others get it out of the way and then push race long. Here comes Higgins back onto the normal line, and he keeps the lead over Ollie Bennett. So a very important race this for Mark Higgins. He needs a win here. He wants points desperately for what is becoming an absolutely intense championship. Ollie Bennett accelerates up the hill. The Fiesta dusted off, brought back into competition for the purposes of this weekend. But Mark Higgins looking so good. It was here that he won back on Easter Monday. Contact with Liam Durand, but Mark Higgins came through to score the win, and he's going to win this first qualifying race of the day as well. Mark Higgins wins race 1 in Q1. Over the line he comes, and a great drive by Ollie Bennett too to take second place. Good to have Steve Mundy back in the championship. He now works his way out of paddock and makes his way up towards the timing line in the Fiesta. Race 2 in Q1 about to get underway. Kevin Proctor on pole as the lights go green. It's blast off. Ollie O'Donovan then in his spare car from the second row gets the jump on Steve Hill and gets the Joker out of the way early. So does Hill. Ollie O'Donovan, Steve Hill get the Joker done. So on track it is Kevin Proctor ahead of the man that leads the championship. Then Julian Godfrey is going after Kevin Proctor, who's had, by his high standards, another lean season. Proctor climbs the hill. He's not done every round this year, but it's good to have him back on the grid here. Through the hairpin he comes then. The Fiesta leads the way. The Mitsubishi Mirage rebuilt after that monster accident at Croft back in the spring. Julian Godfrey runs second down towards paddock, closing a little under braking. Steve Hill accelerates through, and there, look, is Ollie O'Donovan in the spare car. The Fiesta bouncing its way up the curb. Julian Godfrey then turns through that Joker lap, so he will lose time relative to Kevin Proctor. Ollie O'Donovan goes ahead as the Joker stagger unwinds. Ollie O'Donovan goes through. Remember, he jokered right at the very start, and he's ahead now. Julian Godfrey being held up a little bit as he tries to find a way back through. They climb the hill once more. Up now, up Harry Hill towards the hairpin. Godfrey brakes very hard and very late, and the car snakes under braking through the hairpin now. Back onto the power. Downhill they come. Now, all the while, Kevin Proctor is trying to build this advantage. He's on his last lap. He goes for the Joker, serves that. Is he going to maintain his race lead? Though it should do. He comes into the slow chicane, the right, the left, back on the power, back, steps out of line, flicks over the little jump, and he's going to lose the lead. O'Donovan goes through, Godfrey goes through, and Kev the Rev falls into third place. So, Ollie O'Donovan it is then who takes up the advantage. Through the Devil's Elbow, climb the hill once more. Julian Godfrey has not given up. Half a lap to go. Can he find a way by? Brake hard, brake late. Is there a gap on the inside coming out of the corner? There's half a gap, but O'Donovan gets the power down, and he will sprint clear as they drop down the hill now. There's a race win at stake. Are they going to go quicker than Mark Higgins? We'll see in a moment. Ollie O'Donovan is going to win race 2, a great race from Julian Godfrey and Kevin Proctor, but Mark Higgins is quicker. At the end of Q1, Mark Higgins the fastest, just ahead of Ollie O'Donovan, and then Julian Godfrey. Kevin Proctor fourth from Ollie Bennett, and Steve Hill is sixth.
Steve Hill come here fourth in the British Rallycross Championship. Just done Q1, how was it for you?
Yeah, steady enough. I made a bad start, got too much wheel spin, and the rest is history really. Once you made a bad start, it's a job to catch up, but we're gradually getting on the pace. I think some of the boys have done a few laps on Saturday in practice, so I've got to get up to their pace yet, but all went well.
You've got a longer wheelbase on the Mitsubishi, haven't you? Does the Lydden Hill circuit suit that a bit better with the longer corners?
I think it does. The only one I'm struggling with is the bottom of the hill, which is a little bit tighter. It's quite fast, that corner, just finding enough grip there, but no, it's coming along really well.
We're ready for Q2. Steve Hill on pole position, gets mugged off the line by a very quick starting Jake Harris. Steve Mundy there goes for the Joker lap, serves that early. And on track, Jake Harris with that demon start leads the pack then in the LD Motorsport Citroën DS3. On board with Steve Hill, the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 10, chasing. Down the Dover slope. Hill has a look on the inside, he brakes late. Can he get up the inside of Harris? He thinks about it, but he's lost it. Brakes late, brakes hard, didn't have the grip, almost contact, and Steve Hill not only loses the car, he loses second place as well. He's down to third, and Jake Harris is away and gone up the road now. Down they come, into paddock. They'll flick their way through that sequence of corners to the tarmac, and Steve Hill badly delayed. Jake Harris is on target for a pretty dominant win in this first race within Q2. The Elite Fitness car comes now into the right and left of the chicane on the Joker lap. Back onto Chestnut's Drift, down that little jump. Speed building all the time. Jake Harris has absolutely dominated this race. You could argue it's the easier of the two races within Q2, but it's a win nonetheless for Jake Harris. Steve Mundy will take second, and Steve Hill comes home a distant third after that early race spin. Our second race in Q2, Mark Higgins, Ollie O'Donovan, Julian Godfrey, row 1, Kevin Proctor, Ollie Bennett, row 2. We are racing, and a good start is made by Godfrey. He gets the Joker out of the way, so does Ollie Bennett. The rest battle their way onto the loose as they go through Chessons for the first time, and it is just then Mark Higgins that powers his way back to the tarmac ahead. Higgins leads the pack as they break for the Devil's Elbow, back onto the power. Proctor is in second place, Ollie O'Donovan is third as he grabs third gear and climbs the hill on board now. Hard on the brakes for the hairpin at the top of the hill. Higgins, though, is making good his escape for the moment. Downhill they plunge once more into the right-hander. You're riding on board with Mark Higgins. This is into paddock, over the loose. Flick through that chicane, ride the curb, although you've got to be careful not to launch that. Use it as a ramp. And there, Ollie O'Donovan goes for the Joker now. That means he'll drop back from the leaders, but perversely he'll then hopefully have a clear road ahead of him. No, he won't. He's going to fall back behind Ollie Bennett and also behind Julian Godfrey. So actually, O'Donovan loses track position. This is going to make life even harder for him. There is Bennett drifting out wide ahead. O'Donovan closes. Can he get up the inside at the top of the hill? Higgins leads the way then. Kevin Proctor is second. Remember, they've got to Joker. So in real terms, the race leader should be Julian Godfrey. He will inherit the lead, I reckon, when these two have served their Joker laps. Ollie Bennett under attack from Ollie O'Donovan. O'Donovan way up the curb coming into the chicane. There is Higgins through, another normal lap done. Here's the view up front. He's mindful of where Proctor is. He's trying to defend as they go now through the Devil's Elbow. Back onto the Pal. They climb the hill once again here. Turn through the hairpin. Accelerate downhill, and all is looking good for Mark Higgins at the moment, but the real danger is in third place because these two have got to serve one slower Joker lap. Julian Godfrey chasing them does not. It will be Joker on the last lap. Look for Higgins and for Proctor, and through they come together. Ollie O'Donovan is chasing hard as well, but it looks as though Mark Higgins, leader here, will drop behind. They're back onto the loose and they sprint their way down the Dover slope towards the Devil's Elbow, with Julian Godfrey picking up the race lead on that Joker lap. On board with Higgins now, climb the hill. Julian Godfrey serves that Joker early on in the race, and that has put him in the box seat now. Higgins stays ahead of Kevin Proctor, but the frustration is that he's going to be behind Julian Godfrey. Over the line, Julian Godfrey wins and is the quickest out of Q2. Here is Ollie O'Donovan. He's got a puncture, that's why I was about to say he's delayed, and the reason is a flat tyre. Ollie O'Donovan with a puncture finishes rather distant. Another all-action race. Q2 then falls to Julian Godfrey, fractionally quicker than Mark Higgins. Kevin Proctor third from Ollie Bennett, Jake Harris, and Ollie O'Donovan delayed and only 8th fastest.
Kevin Proctor, round 7 of the MSA British Rallycross Championship, just done Q2 despite becoming a grandfather the other day. You're going pretty well.
Yeah, no, it's today's been good for us up to now, and just got to try and get to the finish today.
You had a really good run last time out at Croft. You really made a step forward with reliability and your own performance. Can you capitalise on that here as well?
Yeah, well, hopefully. I mean, we've had a bit of a rough year. We've had a lot of non-finishes, and Croft was hopefully the start of us going well again. You know, up to now today we've had a great run. So fingers crossed. We've just got to keep the reliability and get to the finish.
Julian, you had a test here on Saturday. Strong performance today. Fastest in Q2. Going pretty well for you.
Yeah, no, it's going to plan at the moment. It's really good, and on the championship points there's only 1 point between 3 of us. There's only 2 more rounds after this, so it's very tight. It's going to be real tight. It's going to go down to the wire to the last round, so which makes it good for the crowd and that, and yeah, and it's good having like people like Mark, big names like that coming into the Rallycross, and yeah, it'd be nice to beat him.
Oliver Bennett, welcome back to the British Rallycross Championship. You've been away for a while competing in World Championship ARX events, but you're back in your Ford Fiesta today. How's it going?
Yeah, really good actually. It's nice to be back in the car. Nice to be back at Lydden really. It's one of my favourite tracks. I've driven the most laps here really. So yeah, I love to be back. The Fiesta is certainly different to the Mini now. I've noticed that a lot. So it took me a few laps to get used to it, but it feels good fun.
You look like you were building your performance in Q1, but right on the pace in Q2. It's going to be pretty tight today in the final.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm pushing it too hard yet. There's a bit more to come, but as soon as I'm feeling comfortable in the car, we'll start pushing it a bit harder, I think.
Race 1 in Q3 about to get underway. Steve Mundy and Hill and Ollie O'Donovan take on Andy Grant. We go racing. O'Donovan has got to score well out of this, and he blasts into the race lead. Andy Grant, who missed out on Q1 and Q2 with dramas, goes for the Joker lap. And really, he's now got to try and get himself into the semi-finals. There, you've got Steve Mundy going through in the Fiesta. And Ollie O'Donovan it is that leads as they go through the Devil's Elbow and climb the hill now. Steve Hill already having lost a little bit of ground. Powering their way up towards the hairpin. Hit the brakes, turn through the right-hander. Downhill they turn. Ollie O'Donovan then delayed in Q2 with a left rear puncture. It's been a rather up and down day. He's already in the spare car, the Ford Focus that he was going to run, having had a problem as they fired it up for practice. 12 minutes to get this Fiesta out of the truck and on track, and this is O'Donovan's view, and you can see how busy the driver is. on the Joker. He drops back behind Steve Hill, but he should get that race lead back again when Steve Hill jokers. Through the Devil's Elbow goes the Mitsubishi, the corner at which it's spun in Q2. Powering uphill, Steve Mundy chasing after Ollie O'Donovan, but it looks as though O'Donovan is going to get away here. Brake hard, turn through the hairpin. Ollie O'Donovan, one of the fastest drivers in British Rallycross, former champion, and the man that's had 3 wins this season. Steve Hill up the curb, he goes for the Joker lap this time. He'll try to get that out of the way now without losing too much time. You've got to be very careful through that little chicane, avoid the barriers. He drops back behind Ollie O'Donovan. He will stay ahead of Steve Mundy. And Andy Grant also, of course, at the back of the pack as there. Look, Ollie O'Donovan fights the car up the hill once again. Laps tick down, the clock ticks away as well. This is Steve Hill's view, and you can see O'Donovan escaping up the road as Mundy goes really wide and Andy Grant gets up the inside of him. The Focus, the ex-Will Gollop Andrew Jordan car, goes ahead of the Fiesta, so a change for 3rd place. The Devonian garage owner, Andy Grant, gets himself ahead of Steve Mundy, but it's going to be a win, seemingly, for Ollie O'Donovan. He's on the loose at Chessons Drift. Down through the gears, battle still on for 3rd. Andy Grant is not getting away here from Mundy. Last lap board goes out. There is Steve Hill going through in the Mitsubishi. He's on for 2nd place. Crucially though, has he done enough to get himself through into the semi-finals? He should have done. Clips the curb, lifts the wheel, bounces his way now out of the left-hander at the Devil's Elbow, and then up that very steep climb towards the hairpin at the top. A big crowd here at Lydden on this Bank Holiday Monday, which is, as always, good to see. Rallycross around here, always spectacular, and Ollie O'Donovan is about to be a race winner. He comes through the chicane, he takes the checkered flag. O'Donovan wins, but is he going to be quick enough to be fastest in Q3? We won't know until we've had the next race. Andy Grant takes 3rd. Race 2 in Q3 about to get underway. Julian Godfrey, Mark Higgins, Kevin Proctor go racing off the front row. Ollie Bennett, Jake Harris on row 2. And a good getaway by Kevin Proctor. Now this is effectively the restart of this race because there was a false start caused by Proctor, a jump, so that means he's got to joker twice. Kevin Proctor then is really going to be up against it in this. Julian Godfrey leads Mark Higgins, Jake Harris 3rd, but Proctor is going to have to serve another joker lap, and that's going to drop him a huge chunk of time. Through the hairpin they come. Godfrey then clear road ahead of him, trying to break away. He, remember, was fastest in Q2, and Mark Higgins is the man doing the chasing right now. Off that tarmac section, onto the loose briefly, through paddock, strip of tarmac, and then it's onto the loose at Chessons Drift. Very fast part of the circuit. Jake Harris 3rd, having one of his occasional outings on home soil, powering his way through Chessons Drift once again. Back onto the tarmac they come. So, up front, Julian Godfrey leads the way, trying to get away from Mark Higgins. Remember, it's Godfrey 1 point ahead of Higgins and O'Donovan in the championship. He wants to score well here. He wants to try to build a gap come the end of the day. There's Pembrey and Silverstone still to come as they drop into paddock. There is Higgins in 2nd spot, the Albatech run car. Kevin Proctor, having got one of his jokers out of the way, a long, long way back now. Godfrey versus Higgins. That gap has come down a little bit, I reckon, between the two as they come onto the loose once again. Through they turn, powering their way now onto the tarmac, onto the Dover slope. And Mark Higgins, who's come from a rally background, we've seen him on occasions in RX 150s, and he's had a go in the DTM supporting Sirocco R Cup one-make race series in the past, but very much committed to Rallycross now. British this year, a long-term aim perhaps of being in the World Championship. He did race at Silverstone in the World Championship earlier on this season. Comes down the hill and he's chasing after multiple British champion Julian Godfrey. There is Proctor, way wide, coming out of the hairpin, up the curb, over the grass, back onto the circuit. Mark Higgins goes for the joker, Julian Godfrey does not, and that means that Godfrey hasn't served his joker at all, doesn't it? So Godfrey is going to get a penalty, surely. He has not, for whatever reason, served the joker. Possibly so busy defending from Higgins he's forgotten all about it, but Julian Godfrey has not served a joker lap. Higgins is the best of the jokers, ahead of Ollie Bennett, but Julian Godfrey is going to win on the road, but surely he's going to cop a penalty. Normally, it's 30 seconds in lieu of not serving the joker lap, and so the clerk of the course, Steve Hill, will get his rule book out and see what needs to be done. Through paddock, and now to take the checkered flag, Julian Godfrey wins on the road. Mark Higgins will inherit the win from Ollie Bennett. So Mark Higgins will be fastest in Q3. We'll confirm the results in a moment. Penalty applied to Julian Godfrey, so Mark Higgins fastest in Q3 from Olivers Bennett and O'Donovan. Kevin Proctor 4th, and Godfrey drops to 9th.
Kevin, not the perfect start to Q3. Jumped the start, had to do 2 joker laps, but crucially you're on the outside of the front row for the final, and that means you've got a clear run into the joker should you choose to take that option.
Yeah, well, I think obviously that'll be good for me if I get a great start and I get to the front, that'd be brilliant. But other than that, I'll be going into the joker. When I jumped the start there and I got 2 jokers, I thought, oh dear me. But hopefully it's worked out okay for me.
Julian, unusual mistake for a man of your calibre in Q3, missing the joker lap, 30-second penalty, but still second on the grid for the final.
Yeah, second on the grid, on the outside, so there's possibly try and beat Kevin off the line, go first in the joker lap, try and get some clear space to try and press on. So, no, it's was made much harder for myself, but I should try and repair the damage.
Mark, we've just pulled you away from looking at the data with your spotter. David, coming from a rallying background, how crucial is it to be able to look over the laps immediately after you've come in from a rallycross race?
Yeah, I mean, very important, especially here when you're looking for 10ths, and sometimes what can potentially feel fast isn't fast. So it's just good to have that confirmation afterwards, and having the spot is important. I'm used to having somebody whittering in my ear on rallying, so having Dave there's a really big help for us.
And you have been fast today, fastest twice in Q1 and Q3, pole position for the finals, going pretty well?
Yeah, it is. I mean, Julian's been going very well, but I don't know if he didn't hear the spotter or what happened on the last one, but he didn't get the joker in, so that's put us in a good position for the final. He's probably the next best guy that's out there, and he's been very, very fast today, so good start, clean run. We haven't had any great starts today, so hopefully we're due to have our good one in the final.
There's always great racing provided by the combined grid of Super Nationals and Super 1600s. Tristan Ovenden comes here leading the Super National Championship from Paige Bellamy. The top Super 1600 driver in the points is Craig Lomax. After qualifying, Tristan Ovenden, the man to beat here on home soil. In contrast, Craig Lomax struggling. He's only 10th. Semi-final 1 underway. Good start by Tristan Ovenden. The Clio V6 blasts its way down towards Cheshunt's Drift. Jack Thorne defending his line as they serve the joker right on his tail. Look, Darren Scott. Ovenden up front, getting away. Alan Tapscott runs second. And then the ever-spectacular Vince Bristow in the BMW next in the queue. Out of the chicane. Thorne looking to get through the traffic. He's alongside Thomas Vielgosh and he will go through. Wheelgosh drops back, Darren Scott up the inside, Jack Thorne goes wide, Darren Scott takes the place. It was a bold move, Scott goes through, Thorne back up on the inside and he retaliates, Jack Thorne retakes the place, great battle this. Tristan Ovenden is on target for a win in semi-final 1, Jack Thorne second and Darren Scott third. Tristan Ovenden qualifies for the final ahead of Jack Thorne, Darren Scott and Alan Tapscott. Thomas Wheelgosh didn't joker. He cops a 30-second penalty. Semi-final 2 underway. Lots of wheel spin from Guy Corner from the middle of the front row. So Paige Bellamy is away and gone. Bellamy leads as Paul Coney there goes for the joker. So does Craig Lomax. He leads the Super 1600 Championship and he serves that joker lap on the tail of his rival Paul Coney. Paige Bellamy then in the Lotus Exige trying to get away from fellow Northeasterner Guy Corner. The Northallerton duo 1 and 2. Paul Coney running behind. Guy Corner leads up to the hairpin. Corner ahead, Corner goes wide, he understeers. Paige Bellamy gets up alongside Hot Hatch versus Sports Car and it's going to be the Lotus on the inside line, but Guy Corner doesn't give up without a fight. Paige Bellamy is going to win semi-final 2, checkered flag at the ready, great drive. Paige Bellamy wins semi-final 2 from Guy Corner and Paul Coney. Craig Lomax 4th, Kirk Twyman misses out on the final. The stars of the future of Rallycross are on display in the MSA Junior Rallycross Championship. We've had a mix of winners, and here at Lydden, there's more action guaranteed. After qualifying, Tom Constantine is the man to beat, fastest in 2 of the 3 qualifying races. Brother Luke, his main opposition. We're ready for the final then. Pole position, Tom Constantine, Luke, and then cousin James with him on the front row. Marius Solberg Hansen and Ben Sayer on row 2, ahead of Morgan Root, Will Leighton and Patrick O'Donovan. Grid is formed, the lights will blink green to go racing. Can Solberg Hansen get himself up from the second row of the grid? The championship leader tries to wriggle his way through, but he can't quite do it, as there, look, James Constantine and Ben Sayer and Patrick O'Donovan all go for the Joker lap here. O'Donovan in the silver car squeezes up the inside and he goes through. O'Donovan gains the place. Accelerating their way along the Dover slope for the first time into the Devil's Elbow. Morgan Root has got himself up past Marius Solberg Hansen as well. So Solberg Hansen here slipping back in the pack. Not good news, certainly not what he needs. Hard on the brakes into the hairpin. Morgan Root then, who's been there or thereabouts all season, has got some work to do now to get more ground out of this race as they drop down the hill again. It's been a busy day for the juniors with their qualifying heats. They've had some good action. And now as they accelerate their way out of paddock and now blast back towards the tarmac, up front, but only just at the end of the opening lap, is Luke Constantine then. Second is brother Tom. Is it going to be a fight between these two? They are nose to tail here, look, as they come across the loose, but rather wide goes Tom Constantine. With the yellow flashes on the car, it is Luke Constantine just up ahead. Luke won at Pembrey in the second of the 2 days of action there at the doubleheader in June. Climbing the hill, nose to tail. Now is Tom Constantine going to be able to make a move here and find a way by? The last thing the family wants is for contact between the two. That said, it is still every man for himself. Out of the hairpin they come, down the hill now. Turning their way into paddock through that right-hander, across the loose section of the circuit, through the right. Then you'll flick left and right once more. There, bouncing his way over the curb is James Constantine. Now remember, he got the Joker out of the way early on. Tom Constantine serves his Joker now. Is that going to bring him back into contention? Let's see. He comes across the loose section of the circuit. It will very definitely put him ahead of James Constantine and the other drivers that have Jokered. Is it now going to bring him, when the Joker unravels, ahead of Luke Constantine? He's already pushing on, look. 3 drivers yet to serve the Joker lap. The best of those that have Jokered is Tom Constantine. He comes here second in the championship, 6 points adrift of Marius Solberg Hansen, and he should be able, barring a disaster, to outscore him in this race. Here they come down the hill again. Marius Solberg Hansen trying to use all of the road, trying to gain time over the opposition. Patrick O'Donovan bounces his way across the loose, and there, serving his Joker now, is Will Leighton. Whoops, almost gets it wrong there. Bit too much speed carried into that part of the circuit. But he just about survives. So Will Leighton scrabbles his way through. Fraction of time lost, but still going. Now in the meantime, Ben Sayer has got himself now back ahead of Will Leighton on the Joker. And there they are, climbing the hill, almost nose to tail now as they break for the hairpin, turn into the right-hander. Up front, it is Luke Constantine then leading the way. Can he be on target here for a second win of the season? Down they come, in towards paddock, through the right-hander. The ever-improving Patrick O'Donovan has got himself onto the back of James Constantine as Luke goes for the Joker. Now, has he done enough to stay ahead? It's going to be tight. He brakes, he slows the car for the chicane. He goes right, he goes left. And this is where his heart will either leap or sink. It's going to sink because there, Tom Constantine, his brother, is ahead of him. Tom Constantine goes through on the Joker lap. Tom Con, it is that leads as they go into the left of the Devil's Elbow. Luke Constantine down in second place. And it looks like it's going to be a lockout for the family because seemingly James Constantine is there in third place. Nose to tail, the two brothers run up towards the hairpin. But can there be a change on this last half of the last lap? They are absolutely together as they drop down the hill here. Hanging on to the lead, but only just. Look, Tom Constantine started on pole. He's going to win the race. And is it going to be enough to put him into the championship lead? We'll see as they all file through. It's a win at Lydden for Tom Constantine. Luke Constantine takes second. James Constantine takes third. And then the rest headed home by Patrick O'Donovan. More great racing as ever in the MSA Junior Rallycross Championship. Tom Constantine heads brother Luke and cousin James. Patrick O'Donovan fourth from Ben Sayer, newcomer Will Layton. But the championship leader Marius Solberg Hansen only seventh, meaning he falls to third in the points behind Tom and Luke Constantine with just 4 points between them after 7 rounds.
Tom, pole position for the final, then all of a sudden you've got your younger brother leading the race. Fantastic joker lap strategy to get back in front and then hold him off on the last lap.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised when he come past me off the start. I didn't make as good a start as him, so he fairly took the lead, but I stuck behind him for a few laps and then I just decided that I was going to take my joker mid-race, and it paid off in the end. When he took his, he was just alongside me, but I had the line for the next corner, so it was just how I wanted it to work out.
Your first season of Rallycross and another podium, pretty fantastic year for you so far.
Yeah, it's been really good so far. Like at the start of the year, my target was to just try and get 1 podium, and I think I've only been off it about 4 times. So yeah, couldn't be happier with how the season's gone. So
outside of the grid on the front row for the final, so really dropped down the field and then pushed really hard to climb up paces as everybody else took their joker.
Yeah, I was trying to push really hard, but I had a lot of pressure from Patrick behind me, so I was really struggling to take the racing line. But yeah, I was quite happy with the result.
We're ready for the MSA Super National and Super 1600 Rallycross final. Tristan Avenden starts on pole with Paige Bellaby and Jack Thorne alongside. Guy Corner and Darren Scott are on row 2. Paul Coney, Alan Tapscott and Craig Lomax are on row 3. 6 laps ahead of us. The lights go green, it's blast off, and the V6 Clio howls away from the grid. Tristan Avenden is away and gone as they head to the loose for the first time. This is a very Clio-friendly circuit as Jack Thorne, Darren Scott, Craig Lomax all get the joker out of the way early on. You're on board with Lomax. Brake, turn right, turn left, back onto the power. Busy road ahead of him. Sometimes serving the joker is good because it gets you out of the traffic. For him, it's kept him in the traffic. Paul Coney on the back of Guy Corner there. Look, Paige Bellaby running second, but Tristan Avenden, local man, he leads the pack as they climb the hill here. Tristan Avenden, the man from Canterbury, up front, and that glorious sounding V6 Renault Clio powering downhill. In a sense, the battle's on for second place. We had a great semi-final battle between Paige Bellaby here in the Lotus and Guy Corner behind. The pair from Northallerton are running together in the final as well, ahead of Paul Coney, and he is the top Super 1600 driver on track at the moment. 1 lap in the book and Avenden was the leader by 2 seconds, so he's getting away. Along the Dover slope once more on the tarmac, and this is where the rear-wheel drive Clio can put down the power and build that advantage yet further. The Lotus Exige running in second place of Paige Bellaby. Up the hill, hard on the brakes, and into the hairpin they turn now. Paige Bellaby accelerates downhill, Guy Corner behind, still running in that 3rd place, and Paul Coney in the different spec of car, remember, Super 1600 against Super National. Not quite as powerful, 1.6 litre engine as the upper size you're allowed in Super 1600. He's falling away a little bit in 4th place, but crucially keeping the class opposition at bay. Guy Corner then accelerates his way here around the joker lap at Chessons at turn 1. And that will drop him back now behind Alan Tapscott, at least for the moment. Will it keep him ahead of Darren Scott? It will. Scott's got himself up past Jack Thorne. So there, look, they accelerate down towards us. Jack Thorne, different car, different livery for the weekend, falls back behind Darren Scott now. Jack Thorne, who was absolutely golden at Silverstone, he won there. He also won outright at Pembrey in the first of the 2 days of action back in the summer. There's also a bit of smoke coming from Thorne's car. Now, do we need to worry about that? We might do. I think it's just bodywork pushed against a tyre, but the danger is it cuts the tyre and puts him off the road. It might explain why he's fallen back behind Darren Scott. It certainly explains why the pace is ebbing away. Through they come then now, Scott on the tail of Corner. Avenden leading by 3.5 seconds, give or take, from Paige Bellaby. Paul Coney is 3rd ahead of Alan Tapscott, the massively experienced Alan Tapscott. They're just going out of shot. Corner is next, keeping Darren Scott behind him. Brake hard, turn into the Devil's Elbow. Jack Thorne flings the car in. Powers up the hill. So Jack Thorne, who's been doing great things earlier on in the season with his Renault Twingo, comes down the hill, but Tristan Avenden is just dominating the race, no argument about it. And Guy Corner, having jokered, busy defending his place now. There is Avenden, and he will get the joker out of the way this time around. On the tarmac, turn sharp right, through the left, through the right flick, You're on the loose, you've gone out of the chicane, and now you're back on the power. The speed building all the time. But Paige Bellaby goes through for the moment to inherit the race lead, but she is still to joker. Guy Corner then is next in the queue. Now he's third on the track. He's the second of those that have jokered. The key to all of this is whether he is going quickly enough or whether he's being delayed by defending from Darren Scott, whether he can go ahead of Paige Bellaby. Paige will have to get the joker done this time around. She's inevitably going to lose the lead because on grunt alone the Clio is catching. There is Paul Coney. He accelerates down the hill. Paige Bellaby starts the last lap, goes joker, but Guy Corner is the one to watch. It's not really for the race lead. There's Alan Tapscott keeping at bay just Craig Lomax, but is Guy Corner going to go ahead of Paige Bellaby? This is Lomax's view. Down towards Cheshunt's Drift. There is Bellaby, there is Corner behind. So Paige Bellaby has hung on to second place, but Tristan Ovenden is on target for yet another win. This will be 5 this season. Tristan Ovenden was victorious here and at Croft and at Pembrey and at Croft again. So win number 5 beckons for the Renault Clio driver, the man from Canterbury, ahead of the Northallerton duo, Paige Bellaby, then Guy Corner, and it's Darren Scott running in 4th place. Checkered flag at the ready. Tristan Ovenden does it again to continue this stranglehold on Super National this year. Paige Bellaby takes second. Guy Corner comes home third ahead of Darren Scott, and then Jack Thorne. Paul Coney delayed. He's down to 6th, losing out also in Super 1600. So Ovenden, Bellaby, Corner the top 3. Darren Scott 4th ahead of Jack Thorne. Paul Coney 6th from Alan Tapscott, and Craig Lomax in 8th. What does that do to the championship? Well, Ovenden clear in Super National from Paige Bellaby, and then Paul Coney, Jack Thorne 4th. In the isolated Super 1600 contest, it's Darren Scott ahead by 2 points.
Tristan Ovenden, this is quite a familiar position for us to be in, but never an easy victory for you. But at your home circuit, it must be extra special with your fantastic sounding Renault Clio.
Yeah, it really is. It's very physical round here in that Renault. It is hard work, and it might look easy-ish from the outside. We've had a good day today, but it is very physical to drive.
Paige Bellaby, I know you like this circuit, but your main rival in this championship, Tristan Ovenden, really has the advantage with the power on the hill and the long straights, but you gave him a hard fight in the final.
Yeah, I tried my best. I knew that I probably wouldn't have stood much of a chance to beat him again, but I was really happy with the pace that we've set this weekend. It's the closest we've actually had the Lotus to Tristan this year so far, so yeah, it's onwards and upwards from here, and hopefully next time it'll be a few more seconds off the lap times.
Guy Corner, you haven't been full of luck this year, have you? 1 podium in your home race at Croft, round 3 I think, but you're on the podium here last year at Lydden Hill and back on it again today.
Yeah, no, it's good. Car's been problematic like usual. My daughter's been racing today, and it's been definitely been interesting because I've struggled with time for doing my car and looking after her car, and yeah, this has been an interesting time trying to keep on top of mine, so yeah.
Great action from the Super Nationals. We're getting ready now for the Supercar final. Julian Godfrey, Mark Higgins, Ollie O'Donovan, the top 3 in the championship, set to go head-to-head. Q1 at the start of the day fell to Mark Higgins. He made a perfect start, fended off welcome returnee Ollie Bennett, topped the times, a win in the first supercar race of the day. It was a great effort by Higgins, returning to the scene of his first and so far only win in the championship this year. In the second race, there was tough opposition for the championship leader Julian Godfrey. There was Kevin Proctor, there was Ollie O'Donovan. Ollie O'Donovan was the man in form, and he came through to score the race win. Q2 had early drama. Steve Hill losing it at the Devil's Elbow. Contact with Jake Harris avoided. Harris came through to win his race. Q2 got underway with Julian Godfrey blasting away from the outside of the front row of the grid. He was desperate to try and attack and do what he could to work his way up into contention and be fastest, which he was, just ahead of Mark Higgins. Ollie O'Donovan blasted away, a good start in Q3, working his way across the loose section of the circuit, and O'Donovan looking strong as he accelerated his way down through paddock. For O'Donovan, an important race win. So, at the end of qualifying, Mark Higgins it is, ahead of Ollie Bennett and Kevin Proctor. Ollie O'Donovan 4th, Julian Godfrey 5th. He didn't joker in his last race and copped a penalty.
Ollie, puncturing Q2, that hasn't helped your cause, but a race win in Q3, you're on the second row of the grid on the inside. Is that preferable for you?
Yeah, it's okay, all right. Mark is in pole. I hope to tuck in behind Mark. I do like any part of the front row because sometimes you can get away quick in the joker lap. The risk on the joker lap, if you do come up behind a slower car, he can hold you back a little bit. You know, if I can just tuck in behind Mark for the first corner and see what happens.
We are ready to go racing. This is the final for the MSA British Rallycross Championship here at Lydden. It's round 7 of the championship and it's Mark Higgins on pole, Ollie Bennett and Kevin Proctor with him, Ollie O'Donovan and Julian Godfrey on row 2, Steve Hill, Jake Harris and then Steve Mundy on the back row. The lights go green and we are racing, and a demon start by O'Donovan from the second row. Elbows his way up the middle, there's contact as Proctor bounces off Bennett, Proctor jokers, Godfrey jokers. Julian Godfrey making sure he doesn't forget this time, he gets it out of the way on the opening lap of the race. Through they come then. It is Mark Higgins leading within second place and chasing after him, right on his tail, Ollie O'Donovan. Those that have got the joker out of the way now can concentrate on picking back the places, making up that lost time. Higgins leads. This is O'Donovan's view as they go up the hill towards the hairpin. There's a gap on the inside, is there? There is now. O'Donovan gets out his elbows, 2 bits of contact, he elbows his way alongside Higgins, he's gone through, Mark Higgins on the outside line, tries to fight back, but Ollie O'Donovan goes through. The Ford Fiesta goes ahead of the Peugeot 208, they're back onto tarmac, and Higgins gets that joker out of the way. If he can't get past on the track, can he do it on the undercut on the joker lap? Let's see. He's got to be really quick about this. There is O'Donovan leading on the road ahead of Bennett, and then it's Hill in third place. Higgins is the best of those that have served a joker. He runs fourth for the moment. What he wants to try to do now is press on, close onto the traffic ahead and try and get back ahead when O'Donovan serves the joker. So Ollie O'Donovan, who has been very much the man to beat really this season, he's already taken 3 victories in the supercar category. He's a former British champion, comes down then through paddock, chased by Ollie Bennett. Good to have him back. There is Steve Hill in third place. We've got Pembrey and we've got Silverstone still to go in the championship this year as Higgins 2-wheels his way up the curb, and over the curb goes Julian Godfrey. Now Godfrey came here as the championship leader. Steve Hill gets ahead of O'Donovan, who stays ahead of Higgins. That is very important indeed. Ollie O'Donovan in real terms is still the race leader because he'll inherit track position back again when Steve Hill serves the joker. So double OD, Ollie O'Donovan it is, still leading. Mark Higgins is second. Look back from Steve Hill's Mitsubishi. O'Donovan closing up under braking. Through the hairpin they turn now. Up to fourth gear. And you can see as O'Donovan stands on the brakes and the back wags and he's closing on the Mitsubishi. Ollie O'Donovan, ever spectacular driver, rides the curb. Mark Higgins chases after him, but really now what Mark needs is for Ollie O'Donovan to make a mistake and drift out wide. It's not for happening, seemingly, as they come across the loose. Ollie O'Donovan leads the way, Mark Higgins second, Jake Harris was slow in the background. The gap's coming down between the 2 race leaders, but can Mark Higgins do anything about the man in front of him now? There is Kevin Proctor, across the loose he comes. And Mark Higgins continues to push. All it needs is for Ollie O'Donovan to look in his mirror, get distracted and run a bit deep, and Higgins will be on him. And there is Jake Harris, still struggling. Great shame that, because the LD Motorsport Citroën DS3 has had a good day. Here's the lead gap, and it's virtually nothing at all now. The Albatec racing car chases on, but Ollie O'Donovan in this car, built and prepared by Rallycross legend Tony Bardi, maybe Rallycrosser or indeed circuit racer himself, Tony Bardi. He still leads, and they make the climb up the hill. Ollie Bennett is nearly with them, and Julian Godfrey is struggling, and he's out wide. Has he got a problem? There was a bit of smoke coming from the right front corner. It might just have been tar smoke as he understeered, or it could be a puncture. Look at the right front. Is it a bit low? I think it might be. I think Godfrey's got a deflating tyre there, and he's losing time. O'Donovan, though, is on target for the win. He's on his last lap, and Mark Higgins chasing, just can't quite get there. Through the chicane they turn further back. Steve Hill ahead of Julian Godfrey, and this is really significant for the championship. O'Donovan set for a win, Higgins set for second, and Godfrey dropping places. It's going to turn things on its head again in the title fight. It has been some season this year, really good, and we're not done yet. Mark Higgins' arrival on the scene has given it this real injection of fresh blood, if you like, somebody new to Rallycross from rallying, new machinery for Julian Godfrey, the ex-James Grint Mitsubishi, so it's all change. Ollie O'Donovan, though, is set for win number 4 of the season. The checkered flag is at the ready. Ollie O'Donovan wins at Lydden. Mark Higgins takes second, and Ollie Bennett on the podium. A great drive as he comes through for 3rd place. And what about Julian Godfrey? He makes it home, but a long way down the order. 5th, I think that's going to be for him. Julian Godfrey ahead of Steve Munley, but losing points. And Kevin Proctor also a long way back as he, with damage, comes through now. A 2-second penalty given to Ollie O'Donovan for gaining an unfair advantage. So Mark Higgins takes the win. Question is, have they yet been told?
Yeah, we're very happy. A good start. We're on the 2nd row of the grade. I discussed with Mark actually. I was going to follow him through Chestons, and it all worked out planned. Ollie Bennett was a bit of an eye-opener. He made a great start as well. And going up the hill, I see Mark pulling a little bit too much to the left, and I thought he might leave a gap open, and sure enough he did. I didn't need much of a gap, we just got in there.
And you joked immediately afterwards. Tony Bardi on the radio, obviously, to cover Mark off in the final.
Yes, Tony was on the radio. He said, get in the joker, get done early, because we couldn't really pace Julian and Ollie Bennett, what was happening behind us, you know what I mean? So get the joker done early, because we're going to come back out in a quick pace.
Qualifying pole position for the final, didn't make the perfect start, but still led on the first lap. Talk through what happened after that.
Yeah, we had an okay start, so we got launched. Ollie had a good one as well and was alongside, so we did a lot of rubbing into the first corner. And then just come around the hairpin, I got a big whack in the side and punted out wide, so he was up the inside and that was it, and we were behind him for the rest of the race, unfortunately. So yeah, very disappointed. It's been such a clean day all day, and didn't expect that, but there we go. That's Rallycross, unfortunately.
And you pushed pretty hard, took an early joker to try and take the undercut, but Ollie covered that off as in Pembrey, and not much you can do from there.
No, he had a good run. I mean, we had similar pace. There was nothing between us really. We could gain on certain bits and he gained on other bits, so it was really, really close. There was nothing between us.
Ollie Bennett, and your 2nd British Rallycross Championship start of the year. You haven't been in this car for quite a few months. Fantastic drive in the final, another podium for you.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, unfortunately got pushed out on the start by these boys, but they're going for the points. So no, it was a great race. The Fiesta, to be fair, you can get out of the box. We only got a skeleton crew here today and it performs all day. So great car and great track.
And you're racing in the World Rallycross Championship next weekend in France. A fantastic build-up for that for you.
Yeah, next weekend in Loyac. It's nice to have a bit of confidence from this round. It's a clean day. So it's going to be good. And obviously it's nice to be in the speed of racing, not just, chilling.
Steve Hiller, hard-fought final, really close battle between everyone. You eventually caught past Julian, another 4th place finish. Pretty good day.
Yeah, good day. I think Julian had a few problems, but yeah, he made it hard to get past anyway, as he always does.
And a good result. Your home track effectively until Silverstone came along, so you know this circuit very well.
Yeah, I know it very well. I couldn't have squeezed another ounce out about there, so I guess I'm pleased with the result. It's got to be good.
On a dry day in pretty normal conditions, there's a lot of technology in these front-running cars, and you're doing this at home on the farm. A fantastic result against them.
Yeah, built in a shed in Bucks. Not bad though, is it? No, we love it.
Julian, the end of the final as a front right puncture on the corner of your Mitsubishi Mirage, really tight off the grid, and you opted to take the joker on the first lap. The contact with Kevin did that?
No, I think it was contact with Ollie Bennett that done it. He closed the door. I was actually between them, and then he closed the door, and I think he went across then and hit Kevin, and then it all got real messy. I still backed out of it and then tried to go around the outside of Kevin on the left-hand side, but then Kevin still got it back inside, then followed Kevin around the joker. Next black came around the elbow, I knew I had a puncher, and then when I come through the chicane, I was in the start-finish line, just couldn't get over that chicane, and we hit the old curb and launched him in the air, but then we're just trying to really hang on for the rest of the lap. There's 2 more rounds to go, so we're going to be fighting right to the last minute.
So an all-action day at Lydden, and it puts Mark Higgins back into the lead in the championship. He's 3 points ahead of Ollie O'Donovan, and Julian Godfrey now falls to 3rd. From Lydden, and a great day of racing, controversial at times, but full of action. The series heads back to South Wales. 1 day of action coming up next at Pembrey.